Welcome to the Database Design and Development Unit. In this lesson, we will be looking at the General Data Protection Regulation. This has to do with how businesses and organisations store and keep data lawfully. As always, we have some learning intentions for our lesson. These are, we will learn the types of personal data that businesses use during their operations, learn how the use of that personal data is controlled through GDPR, and learn the definitions of key terms from GDPR. Our success criteria for this lesson is as follows. By the end of the lesson, we'll be able to describe how data is used by businesses and the need for independent regulation. We'll be able to state who a data subject is and describe their rights. We'll be able to state who a data controller is and describe their duties and responsibilities. Finally, we'll be able to state who the Information Commissioner is and describe their duties and responsibilities also. Firstly, let's look at a definition of GDPR. The General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, is a regulation in EU law on data protection and privacy. The requirement and request for personal data has become more and more common. Confidentiality has become vital in today's society in order to protect our online identities. Many organisations and businesses maintain large databases which often contain huge amounts of confidential data. These would include names and addresses, bank details, driving licenses, IP addresses, email addresses and passwords, and even medical records and DNA. Because of this, there's a need to protect data to ensure that it's not misused. The General Data Protection Regulation sets out exactly how data should be used by relevant parties. The GDPR applies to all companies who process information about data subjects that live in the EU, regardless of that company's location. GDPR itself defines two groups of people, the first being data subjects and the second being data controllers. Data subjects have certain rights afforded to them through GDPR, whereas data controllers have certain duties and responsibilities imposed upon them through GDPR. As mentioned in the last slide, one of the groups are data subjects. Data subjects have rights. Data subjects are the people whom the data relates to. And as I've said, they have the following rights. To know if their personal data is being processed, where and what for. To be notified of a data breach within 72 hours. They also have the right to data portability. And that's the ability to move, copy or transfer data from or to another data controller. They also have the right to access data that is held about them, and also to be provided with an electronic copy of the data free of charge. There are a few exceptions to these rights, however. Those exceptions are if they involve one of the following organisations: the police, security services, or Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. The second group of people defined by the GDPR are data controllers. A data controller is a person, business or organisation that can control the collection and use of personal data. They have certain duties and responsibilities. Some of these are that all data is processed lawfully, fairly, and in a transparent manner. Data is only used for the declared purposes. Data held is limited to what is needed for the declared purpose. All data is accurate. All data is held securely. The data isn't kept any longer than necessary. And they must gain the consent of the data subject prior to storing any data related to that data subject. The data subject, however, can withdraw this consent at any time. There is an organisation that oversees GDPR. This organisation is called the Information Commissioner's Office. It is the UK government body that is responsible for overseeing the General Data Protection Regulation. It's the UK's independent supervisory authority and has the power to investigate complaints made against data controllers. The ICO can sanction data controllers if they breach GDPR. They can sanction them with fines up to 4% of their global turnover or up to €20 million. That's us come to the end of our database design and development lesson on GDPR. Thanks once again for joining us on our faculty YouTube channel, Grive High Business and Computing Science. Don't forget to tell your friends and please subscribe